Today I'm going to share with you the mindset shift that took me from stuck to fully completely aligned. When we feel stuck in life, it is because of the way we perceive our situation and the state of mind we choose to navigate it. Most times we know all the possible solution to our situation, but because we are overwhelmed by all the options, we end up doing nothing. But once we can change our perception by shifting our mindset, our life will change forever. Today I'm going to share with you the three main components of the mindset shift that took me from stuck to fully, completely aligned. So why was I stuck? I used to work in luxury fashion and I did that for 7 years. Yes, I was passionate about fashion. Pause. During my time in luxury fashion, I learned some very cool skills, like the ability to speak Mandarin Chinese. 对，会说中文，我会说一点点. And the ability to speak a little bit of Korean. 한국어 조금 할 수 있어요. 나 아버지 한국 사람이에요. If you understand any of that, comment down below, let me know what I said. There were some very cool perks to working in luxury fashion. I got to meet a lot of cool celebrities and I was able to get luxury garments at a discounted price. And the commission was kind of good. However, after 2 to 3 years in this industry, it started to become of diminishing marginal value, meaning it wasn't as exciting to me as it once was. So I knew I needed to seek something different. I love the idea of internet money, and I used to watch a lot of entrepreneurs who make money straight off their laptop from the comfort of their home. I said, I want to do that. So I tried e-com, I tried dropshipping. Now, I made a little bit of money with dropshipping, but I spent all of my capital, all of my budget on ad spend. So I quit that. I tried SMMA. I did that for a little bit. I quit. I tried Etsy. I did that for a little bit. I quit. I tried domain flipping. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but this is where you buy very cool domains and you try to flip them on another website. I tried that and I quit. I also tried copywriting. I sent 70 pieces of cold email. No reply. So I ended up quitting. So I had a problem. For every business I started, I ended up quitting. So year after year, I'll just constantly be seeking a new venture to pursue, which caused me to feel stuck. And every time I tried a new business, I was losing my own self-trust, doubting my own abilities. And I was reluctant to get the work done for every new business out of fear that it might end up exactly where I was last year, which was a situation. So I said, I needed to learn how to navigate this until I realized I was chasing the wrong M's. I was chasing money and not meaning. See, what I noticed about those who are successful in all of their pursuits, they prioritize meaning over money. It's like, even if they weren't getting paid, they'll do the exact same thing. So their success is inevitable. Why? Because they're passionate about it. It's their purpose. They feel like it's their calling. So I tried that. I tried that reluctantly. And what I noticed is when I started to pursue a business model based around my purpose, it was more easy for me to get the work done. I feel like it was aligned with my identity. I picked a field that I was passionate about, good at, and I felt like the world needed. And once I picked that, getting the work done was easy for me because I felt like I was just expressing myself. It was easy for me to enter the flow state. And then I realized I needed to pick a business model that was aligned with who I am. Everybody has these traits that they're naturally gifted at. And when they pick something that is aligned with that, it is easy for them to get the work done. The reason why I kept on quitting on all the other previous business models because it wasn't aligned with who I was. I realized I need to become the kind of person who's willing to do this with or without the money, right? Because when money is the only motivator and you already have enough money to survive, when the going gets tough, you're going to end up quitting. And I did that so many times. But once I realized I need to prioritize meaning over money, purpose over monetary gain, I realized my whole perception of life changed. So that was the first component that shifted me from a place of being stuck to a place of being aligned. Now the second component was a willingness to change. After quitting 7 businesses, I was reluctant on this new idea to try a business model based on my purpose. But I realized the reason why I kept going from business model to business model was because I was reluctant to the idea of change. If you want to receive things you've never gotten before, you have to be willing to do things you've never done before. Oftentimes, when we want things in life, we often want it, but we're not willing to do what it takes. And that's what I noticed about myself. I wasn't willing to do what it takes. If I wanted to get more results or results better than the one that I was consistently getting, then I needed to change my habits. I needed to change who I was. What really did it for me was, I remember reading this ayat in the Quran, which is a quote in the Quran. He said, Allah will not change the conditions of a people until he changes what is in himself. And in the Bible it says, man can receive nothing unless given to him from heaven. So I realized, if I'm not willing to change the person I am, if I'm not willing to change my habits, then I will not attain exactly what I want. And if I want God to assist me in the process, he requires me to change first and do something different and do it to my best ability so I can receive what I wanted. If you feel stuck, Part of the problem is your unwillingness to change. Because most times we know what the option is, or we know what the option requires of us. But because we've been so reluctant to the idea of change for so long, it becomes difficult for us to accept them and go in that direction. Now, in order for you to change and stick to it, you need a degree of self-trust, which is the third component to the mindset shift that took me from stuck to fully aligned. Self-trust. Now, after all those failing at least 7 businesses, what I noticed is every time I started a new business, I'll have a decrease in self-trust out of sheer fear that it might end up like the previous business. The reason why I quit the business is I reached an obstacle that I felt was just too big that I couldn't overcome. But what I failed to realize is these obstacles come repackaged just in the next business, because all business is fundamentally the same. I was reluctant to trust myself that I'll change for real this time. The devil kept whispering doubtful thoughts in my ears. Like, what if this ends up like last time? What if you're the person who just tries and never gets anywhere? What if you're just the kind of person who's just a failure? What if you're not worthy of attaining what it is that you want? So I realized I can't do this by myself. And I remember reading an ayat in the Quran that said, whoever relies on Allah, Allah will provide for him places he did not know existed. Who am I to question God? If I rely on him, he will provide for me from places that I'm unaware of. So me really wanting to change, really wanting to start this business model based on my purpose, I enlisted God to help me regain my self-trust by relying on him first and understanding that he'll provide for me places I don't know, as long as I do my best and I trust in him. And once I started to do that, and I started to adopt the habits of the version of me who already has what it is that they want, what I realized is I slowly started regaining my own self-trust. And it's going to be difficult at first, right? Because you've promised yourself so many things so many times and you didn't deliver. But regaining your self-trust actually begins in the smaller things. By doing all the things that you say you'll do. And the more and more you regain your self-trust by doing all the things that you say you'll do, what I realized was it also started showing my confidence. I was much more sure of myself. Because everything I said I'll do, I ended up doing. But I couldn't do this by myself. I had to ask the help of God. And what is impossible to God when he created time, space, and matter? Now, just to recap, the 3 components that took me from stuck to fully aligned is prioritizing meaning over money, a willingness to change, gaining self-trust by trusting in God first. If you are able to take these 3 components, implement into your life, I promise you, you're going from a place of being stuck, a place of being completely and fully aligned. But it requires you to trust yourself, be willing to change, and choose a business model that is based around something you love, something that you find is your purpose, something that you will do without monetary gain. If you've lasted this long into the video, my name is Kay and I help 25 to 35-year-olds find their purpose, build a community, and learn to monetize them. If that sounds like something you're interested in, book a call down below so we can find out if what I offer is what you need. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.